You think you're confident, you're not. What you call confidence is performance. What you think is strength is desperation dressed in a smile. You walk into rooms seeking validation. You speak to be liked. You move through the world asking for permission you pretend you don't need. I can see it. Everyone can see it. The truly confident don't announce themselves. They don't need to. They carry something you lack, something that makes rooms go quiet, something that makes people shift in their chairs and look away first. It's not charisma, it's not charm, it's something colder, something earned. This script is not for most people. Most people should stop watching now, because once you understand what I'm about to show you, you can't return to the comfortable lies you've been living. You can't go back to thinking your neediness is connection or your constant talking is presence. This is the psychological autopsy of your social performance. And if you're weak, it will hurt. Let me be clear about what's happening in your life right now. You enter rooms and immediately scan for approval. Your eyes betray you. They dart. They seek. They ask silent questions. Do they like me? Am I welcome? Did I say the right thing? You feel silence because you're terrified of what it reveals. You explain yourself in paragraphs when a sentence would do. You apologize for occupying space. You laugh at things that aren't funny to prove you're friendly, accessible, safe. You think this is how you build rapport. You think this is how you make allies. You're wrong. What you're actually doing is broadcasting your position in the hierarchy. And that position is low. Every unnecessary word is a confession. Every forced smile is a tax you pay to people who never asked for it. Every moment you seek to be liked, you lose the ability to be respected. There is a different kind of confidence, one that operates on entirely different principles. It doesn't seek approval because it doesn't recognize the authority of the crowd. It doesn't explain because it doesn't consider itself on trial. It doesn't fill space because it owns the space already. This confidence makes people nervous because it violates the unspoken contract of social performance. It refuses to participate in the game of mutual reassurance. It says, I am the prize. You convince me. And most people have never encountered it. What I'm about to give you is not a guide. It's a transmission. These aren't techniques. They're laws. Laws that govern power dynamics, whether you acknowledge them or not. Laws that separate rulers from servants. Laws that people with real power never discuss because they benefit from your ignorance. Once you see these laws in action, you'll see them everywhere. In every boardroom, every negotiation, every interaction where one person walks away in control and another walks away wondering what happened. This is the point of no return. If you're uncomfortable, leave now. You talk too much. You fill every gap in conversation because you've been trained to believe silence is failure. You've been taught that the person speaking is the person winning. You've been lied to. Silence is the territory of kings. When you speak, you offer information. Information is power leaked. Every word you say is a piece of yourself handed to people who may not deserve it, may not value it, may use it against you later. The compulsive talker is always the nervous one, always the one seeking validation, always the one lower in the hierarchy. Watch a predator. It doesn't announce its presence. It waits, it observes, it calculates, and when it moves, the movement has purpose. Now watch the prey. Constant noise, constant signals, constant proof of existence broadcast to anything listening. You are prey. The truly confident allow silence to stretch. They don't rush to fill it. They don't rescue others from discomfort. They sit in it, unmoved, while others squirm. And in that silence, something transfers. Attention shifts. The person who breaks first reveals their need. The person who waits demonstrates their sufficiency. Here is your correction. In your next 10 conversations, reduce your word count by half. Speak only when you have something worth saying. Let others fill the void. Watch how they scramble. Watch how they offer information, explain themselves. Seek your approval in the space you refuse to fill. You will feel the urge to speak. That urge is your weakness. Observe it. Do not obey it. Silence is not the absence of power. Silence is power concentrated. You are too available emotionally. You react to everything. Someone criticizes you, you defend. Someone praises you, you light up. Someone withdraws attention, you pursue. Your emotions are leashed to the behaviors of others. You are a puppet dancing on strings you can't see. This is why you're exhausted. This is why you feel powerless. You've given everyone else the remote control to your internal state. The confident operate differently. They have mastered something you haven't even attempted. Emotional sovereignty. They don't react. They respond. And often, they don't respond at all. When you become emotionally unavailable to manipulation, you break the game. People are accustomed to emotional leverage. They apply pressure and watch you move. They withhold approval and watch you chase. They create urgency and watch you panic. But what happens when none of it works? Confusion, respect, nervousness. Because they've just encountered someone who doesn't need them, and people are terrified of those who don't need them. Your correction is surgical. For the next 7 days, delay every emotional response by 60 seconds. Someone insults you? Wait. Someone demands your attention? Wait. Someone tries to guilt you into action? Wait. In that 60 seconds, the emotion loses its control over you. You see it for what it is, an automatic reaction programmed by years of conditioning. And once you see it, you can choose whether to obey it. Most people are ruled by their emotions. They think their feelings are sacred truths that must be honored immediately. They are children. You will no longer be one of them. Emotional withdrawal is not cruelty. It's sovereignty. It's the refusal to be moved by forces outside your control. You explain your value constantly. You list your credentials. You mention your achievements in casual conversation. You find ways to demonstrate your intelligence, your work ethic, your worth. You think this is how you earn respect. It isn't. Every time you announce your competence, you undermine it. Because truly competent people don't explain. They simply are. Their results speak. Their presence confirms. Their silence on the subject is louder than your entire speech. Watch the amateur. He tells you he's good. Watch the master. He shows you without words and often without even trying. The difference is not skill. The difference is security. You announce because you're insecure. You recite your resume because you fear invisibility. You need others to acknowledge your value because you don't believe in it yourself. This is the mark of the servant class. Always justifying, always proving, always on trial. Rulers don't justify. They don't explain why they deserve their position. Their position is self-evident. They occupy it. That's the only proof required. Here is what you'll do. Remove all self-promotion from your speech for 30 days. Do not mention your accomplishments unless directly asked. Do not explain your credentials. Do not defend your competence. Instead, let your actions generate the evidence. You will feel invisible at first. Good. That discomfort is your ego dying. Let it die. What remains afterward is something harder, something that doesn't need recognition because it knows what it is. And when you finally embody competence without announcement, people will sense it without understanding why. They'll treat you differently. They'll assume authority you never claimed. This is how power actually works. You are too available. You respond immediately to messages. You rearrange your schedule for anyone who asks. You make yourself endlessly accessible because you think that's what valuable people do. You're mistaken. Availability is abundance. Abundance is commonality. Commonality is low value. The powerful are scarce. Their time is expensive because it's limited and selective. They don't respond immediately because they have more important things to attend to. They don't rearrange their lives because your need is not their priority. This sounds cruel to you because you've been trained in the religion of availability. You've been taught that good people are always accessible, always helpful, always ready to sacrifice their own time for others. That teaching served someone. It wasn't you. When you're always available, you train others to devalue your time. When you always say yes, you teach them that your priorities are negotiable. When you always respond immediately, you demonstrate that nothing you're doing is more important than their interruption. You are training them to disrespect you. The correction is simple but difficult. Delay all responses by minimum 2 hours. Decline half of all requests for your time. Make people wait for access to you, not out of spite, out of necessity, because you have important work to do, work that matters more than their need to be immediately attended to. And if they don't understand that, they don't deserve your time anyway. Scarcity creates hunger. Hunger creates value. Value creates respect. You are not being mean, you are being selective. And selective is what the powerful have always been. Your body betrays you before you speak. You slouch. You make yourself smaller. You cross your arms defensively. You shift your weight when nervous. You look down. You move aside. You apologize with your body for existing in space that belongs to you as much as anyone. Every person you meet reads this. They may not consciously know they're reading it, but somewhere deep in the primate brain we all carry, status calculations are being made, and your body is screaming low status with every movement. The confident occupy space differently. They stand tall, not as performance, but as natural right. They move slowly because they're not rushing to prove anything. They maintain eye contact not as aggression, but as equality. They take up space without apology. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. The body expressing what the mind believes. I belong here. I have every right to this space. I am not asking permission to exist. Most people walk through life physically apologizing for their presence. Shoulders rounded, head down, body compact. They've learned to make themselves small to avoid conflict, to be likable, to not threaten anyone. They've learned submission. Your correction starts now. For the next 14 days, consciously adjust your posture every hour. Shoulders back, spine straight, head level, feet planted. Take up the space you're entitled to. Walk as if you own the ground beneath you. You will feel ridiculous. You will feel like you're pretending. Good. That feeling is your truth breaking through layers of learned helplessness. The body leads and the mind follows. Change how you hold yourself and watch how others respond. Watch how they defer. Watch how they give you slightly more space, slightly more attention, slightly more respect. They're not responding to arrogance. They're responding to alignment, to someone who finally looks like they believe their own worth. This is the deepest cut, the one you'll resist most. You need people to like you, not want, need. It's in your voice when you speak. It's in your eyes when you listen. It's in every joke you tell, every favor you offer, every time you agree when you want to disagree. You have built your entire social strategy on being liked, and it has made you powerless. Because the moment you need approval, you surrender your position. You make the other person the judge and yourself the defendant. You give them the power to grant or withhold the thing you've decided you can't live without. And they will use that power, not maliciously, just naturally. Because that's how power works. The confident don't seek approval because they don't recognize the court. They're not concerned with whether you like them because your opinion doesn't determine their value. They have their own internal measure, and it's the only one that matters. This is what makes them dangerous. This is what makes people nervous. Because you can't control someone who doesn't need your validation. Think about this carefully. Every person you've ever considered powerful, every person who commanded respect without demanding it, every person who seemed to operate by different rules, they all had this in common. They were not trying to be liked. They were indifferent to your judgment. And that indifference was their strength. Your correction is the hardest. Identify the 3 people whose approval you seek most. For the next 30 days, actively stop trying to please them. Don't be rude, don't be hostile. Simply stop performing for their benefit. Stop shaping your words to their preferences. Stop monitoring their reactions. You will experience withdrawal. You will feel exposed. You will want to return to the safety of approval seeking. Don't. Because on the other side of this discomfort is freedom. The freedom to be disliked and still be whole. The freedom to lose approval and not lose yourself. The freedom that comes from answering to no judge but your own conscience. This is the final transformation, from servant to sovereign, from someone who needs permission to someone who grants it. You came here weak, looking for tricks, looking for tactics you could perform while remaining who you are. But you can't. These laws don't work as costume. They work as surgery. You have to cut away the parts of yourself that have been trained to submit. The parts that seek approval, the parts that apologize for existing, the parts that need to be liked more than they need to be respected. This transformation is violent. It has to be, because you're not adding something to yourself. You're removing layers of conditioning that were placed on you before you could consent to them. You were taught to be nice, to be agreeable, to make others comfortable at your own expense, to smooth every interaction, to never make anyone nervous. Those teachings created a servant. I'm showing you how to become something else. Someone who walks into rooms and changes them by presence alone. Someone who speaks rarely but is always heard. Someone who doesn't seek approval because they don't acknowledge the authority of the crowd. Someone whose confidence isn't performance, it's architecture. People will be nervous around you. Good. Their nervousness is your confirmation. It means you've stopped playing the game. It means you've violated the unspoken contract of mutual submission. It means you're no longer safe and predictable and controllable. It means you're free. Most people will watch this and do nothing. They'll feel inspired for 6 hours. Then they'll return to their patterns. They'll keep seeking approval. They'll keep explaining themselves. They'll keep making themselves small, because transformation is painful and most people prefer comfortable suffering to uncomfortable growth. If you're one of them, this is where we part. But if you're still here, if you felt something shift while reading this, if you recognized yourself in every weakness I named and you're ready to cut it out, then understand this. What I've given you is the foundation, the visible laws, the ones I can speak out loud. There are deeper laws, darker ones, laws that govern the highest levels of power, laws that explain why certain people seem to operate in different reality, laws that are never discussed in public because the people who know them benefit from your ignorance. I teach those laws elsewhere, to smaller groups, to people who've proven they can handle what confidence really requires. You're not ready for them yet. You might never be. But if you apply these 6 laws for 90 days without compromise, something will change in you. You'll start to see the game. You'll start to recognize the patterns. You'll start to understand why the powerful stay powerful and the weak stay weak. And when that happens, when you've earned it through discipline and transformation, there's more waiting. But only for those who do the work. Only for those who transform. Only for the few. The rest will keep seeking approval. Keep explaining themselves. Keep making people comfortable. Keep serving. You decide which side of that line you'll stand on. The choice was always yours. Now you know what it costs.